All right, so I'm going to give you some quick hints to section 11 Webworks. Okay, so get ready and let's go through these problems one after the other. Okay, are you all set? All right, let's go. So for problem number, so actually we have 11 problems to go through, and I'll be very quick in discussing these. So yes, please pay attention. So problem number one, okay. So a quick hint to solving problem number one is that if I were you, I would open Excel and try out the possible answers and see if it will work. All right. So over here, you realize that um, A will be a good option, but B will not be a good option because if you open Excel and you try to put in the dollar sign before this number, it wouldn't work. All right. But Excel will take C. So open Excel and try to put in this minus 11,110,000 plus 22,000 will still give you negative 88 or 88,000. Okay, so A, C, and F are the possible options. So if I were you again, I would open Excel to look at this. All right, let's go to problem number two. So problem number two as well, you use the same hint I gave you on problem number one. So again, open Excel and put the functions that you think are the possible options and see if they will work. Is that okay? Nice. So refer to problem number one to look at what the options for number two will be. All right, good. Number three. Okay, so number three, Jennifer and Pierre are buying a house. They have 26,000 for a down payment. The house price is 166,000. Now, if the interest rate is that compounded monthly, you want to determine the size of the monthly payment. Now, the key word you have to pay attention here is monthly payment. Now, as we discussed in this section, to know the monthly payment, you have to use Excel's PMT function. So we're going to do open Excel, equal sign, PMT. All right. Now the interest rate. And what's the interest rate? 7.97. Change that to a decimal, which will be 0.0795. And then divide by 12 because this we want the monthly, right? And number of payments. So we do 12 multiplied by 25 right there. And to find how much they borrowed. Now it says that Jennifer and Pierre will do 26,000 down. Now the cost of the house is 166,000. So you have to take away the down payment from the cost of the house. And that's the amount that Jennifer and Pierre are going to borrow. All right. And that will come down to 140,000. If you put that in Excel, um, you put that the value here. Is that okay? Are you Gucci? All right, sweet. Now let's go to problem number four. Now problem number four here as well, we're going to do almost the same thing we did for Pierre and Jennifer. So Pierre and Max are buying a house. They have that to put down. So the house is that. If the interest rate is compounded monthly, determine the size of the monthly payment. So when you hear monthly payment, go for the PMT function. So equal sign, all right, the interest rate divided by 12 because this is monthly, right? And then comma, the number of payments. So you have to do 25 by 12, right? And then to know the amount that they need to borrow because they are paying 25 down on their house, you have to subtract this from that, okay? To know how much Pierre and Max would have to borrow. All right, so you use the PMT function to get your answer right there. Okay, Gucci, sweet. Number five. So for number five, Here as well, when we talk about payment, you have to think about using the PMT function. All right, so the PMT function I just took you through. So Jeremy borrowed this from the bank in order to buy a new home. Right, he will pay it off by equal payments at the end of each week. Okay, I'm going to do that for you. At the end of each week, we are talking about week for 3 years. Is that okay? So what you need to do is that to find the payment, you have to do equal sign PMT, and the interest rate is 8.6. So this will be 0.086. Now you have to divide this by weeks, number of weeks in a year. Is that okay? And now 52, because there are 52 weeks in a year. Now you multiply that by 3, and then minus how much Jeremy borrowed, and that will give you the payment amount. Is that okay? Now, whatever you get for your payment amount, assuming you have that for your payment amount, and you want to know the interest over the period, this amount you had from your Excel function multiplied by 52 and multiplied by 3, okay, will give you how much Jeremy will pay. So let me call that hash. So that will give you how much will pay Jeremy. You're going to pay over 3 years. Is that okay? And that amount, that payment, this includes the interest. So therefore, to know the interest over the period, you have to subtract this answer, all right, minus how much Jeremy borrowed, which is $4,000, to get the interest. Okay, does this hint help you? Okay, so use PMT function to get the payments. Is that okay? Now, when you get the payments, multiply the payments by 52 and by 3 to get how much Jeremy paid over the lifetime of this loan. Okay, now when you have that, subtract how much Jeremy borrowed, all right, and get the interest on the loan of $4,000. Are we Gucci? All right, let's go to number 6. Number 6. Problem number 6. So here we kind of do the same thing. So Jeremy borrowed 3,500 from a bank in order to pay for a new jacuzzi. He will pay it off by equal payments at the end of each week. There are 52 weeks, all right, in a year. And then for 2 years, then the annual interest rate is that. So use the same hint I gave you on problem number 5 to get number 6 done. Gucci. All right, nice. Number 7. So number 7. So Zach is buying a new sailing boat. He can afford 1,600 monthly payments. If the store charges 5.9 interest rate compounded monthly, and Zach wants to pay off the loan in 5 years, what is the most expensive boat he can afford? All right. Now, when you hear, so let me distinguish before I look at the question. Let me distinguish between PMT. Now, PMT is used to find the monthly payment. Now, PV, which we're going to talk about now, is used to estimate how much of a mortgage or how much of a loan an individual or someone can afford. Is that okay? So here you have to use the PV function. So we are going to use the PV function to know how much Zach will be able to afford. So the interest rate is 0.059 divided by 12, comma, and then this is 12 by 5, comma, and then 1,600, okay? Because that is how much Zach will be able to pay every month. Is that okay? Now that if you put this in Excel, that should give you a certain figure. So put that in Excel and get the question mark. Now, what this is asking is that what is the most expensive boat he can afford? Is that okay? So what you do is whatever result you get for that, you need to add. No, actually, yeah, you just need to get that value and put that in. Okay. So whatever value you get for that, that is the most expensive um, boat Zach can afford. So you don't need to add anything. So just that. Okay. So that will give you how much loan that Zach can afford, knowing what he wants to put down every month. Are we Gucci? Okay. Let's go to problem number 8. Now, problem number 8. This is um, this is similar to problem number 7. So this time around, you still do the PMT. You use the PV, sorry. So you do the PV to estimate how much you can afford. Now that you know that Jeremy can put down, do 1400. Is that okay? So what we're going to do here is that we're going to use the PV, and let me quickly take you through that. So you do equal sign the PV, and then the interest rate is 0.0605 and divided by 12, right? Because compounded monthly. Now this is how many years? So 12 by 24, okay? And then minus 1400, okay? Now this is going to give you a certain figure when you put that in Excel. But hey, it says that Jeremy can put down 17,000. Is that okay? So in problem number 7, there was no down payment, but problem number 8, we are talking about a down payment of 17,000. So whatever you have with your PV function, you add, okay, because you are looking at the max that Jeremy can go. So you add whatever answer the PV function gives you to his down payment, okay, and that will be the answer. Okay, what is the most expensive apartment he can buy? So that uh, will be the most expensive apartment that Jeremy can buy. Are we Gucci? All right, nice. Let's go to number 9. So problem number 9, and here, if you're here, you want to look at really, you have to look at page 144. So there's a formula that talks about this, page 144 of your test. Okay, there's a formula there that talks about the total expense ratio. So basically, to know the payment, take how much he pays monthly and then subtract that. Okay, that gives you the payment. Is that okay? So whatever value you have for your payment, is that okay? You use that in your PV function to estimate that. So you use whatever value you have here, because PV is used to estimate how much loan you can afford when you know the monthly payment. So when you do 950 minus 165, that gives you that. All right. Now you know the interest rate, right? And then you know how long the mortgage is for. Okay. And then use the value you have here as your monthly payment to estimate that. So that should simplify problem number 9. And I'm sure we're going to need the same formula on pages 144 for problem number 10. So let's look at problem number 10 in a minute. Okay, so let's see here. Okay, so Jennifer is purchasing 140,000 house. The down payment is that, right? All right, so she's given the choice of 2 mortgages. So here we want to look at a 25%. So basically monthly payment, right? You have to use the PMT function to estimate that. And then you know how I showed you how to find the interest. So basically, PMT and then the interest. All right. So this to some extent has been dealt with earlier. Okay. Nice. Now let's go to number 11. Okay. So number 11 is where I refer to as you need the formula on pages 144. So refer to the formula on pages 144, okay, to estimate the payment. Is that okay? And then whatever payment you have for that, all right, so you use Excel's PV function to do that. Is that okay? So pay attention because these values are, when you look at the formula on pages 144, it talks about monthly 36% of the borrower's gross monthly income. So if you are given for the year, you have to divide by 12. So you realize that these are yearly values. So make sure I'm just giving you the hint. We are talking about monthly and you have yearly values, divide by 12. All right. When you have monthly values, maintain them. Okay. Nice. So that is the hint that I can give you on question number 11. Are you Gucci? All right. So that's about it. And let me know if you have any questions regarding these problems. All right. So thanks very much. Okay. So I'm out.